Hi guys, welcome again. Today I will show you how to create a mileage category in MEO system. In the administration, in the section expenses, there is a section categories. Here you can just create, delete, or manage all the categories that are across the system. Today I will show you how to create a mileage category. If you want to add a category, any category, you just need to click add new. Then you can put a description. So I will just name it simply mileage. You'll need to choose a type. There are a few types of categories that I believe I mentioned at some point in previous videos. This one is just the mileage, so I have to choose the type mileage. Then all the yellow fields are mandatory, the white not. So you can choose a category group if you want, so it will be easier for your users to choose the category whenever they will claim expenses. So I will put it in a mileage category. Those categories you can create in a separate section that I will show in different video. If you want this category to be on some position, let's say a first in a group, you can just decide here and just put number one. So it means that in the category group mileage, this mileage, let's call it A, will be on the first place. If you want to gather all the information about the tax P11D, you can just flag this category with P11D here. You can choose the default account type. It can be expenses, or if you have a credit card, you can choose a credit card as well. The most important thing about the mileage category is a type of a mileage category. We've got a few types here, depends whatever you want to use in a system. It can be a standard category with a no deduction, or if you deduct the mileage home to work, you can just choose a home to work. If you don't want to use the point-to-point type of a category, you can just choose the manual mileage, or there are other different types, whatever you want to use. There are some things that are really not mandatory, so you don't have to worry about that. If you have the passenger allowance, then you need to click available, so that every user, whenever we create a claim mileage, will have the option to add a passengers. For this one here, as well as for a bulk and heavy, if you decide to use them together with a category, you will need to set up the correct mileage rates in a separate section in a system. Below, you've got a VIT section, which is the same for every category. So you'll need to decide your default code, let it be 20%, 0 if there's no receipt attached. And if you don't collect the foreign VIT, you can choose a 0 here as well. If you want to add some limits, then you can put a limit. We have two limits, either on the age of the claim, or we have limits for the value of the claim. Now you can decide whether you require a description or some reference, and if you want this reference to be mandatory required, then click required. If you want the users to attach the receipts, then you just click a receipt. Other bits are exactly the same as for the other categories. So if you would like to split coding, split this category between two different coding, like a cost center, you can decide and just click yes or no. So those things you can change anytime you want. If you use a coding in your system, then you can decide whether this coding will be available, whether it will be mandatory or not. I've got a few codings assigned to this category, and I require my user to choose all of them. So the cost center, project, department, and a customer. Account codes, so it will be your nominal code that you use in your finance system, and if you would like to store anything else within this category, you can choose the other coding, which I have it here. One is a tag one, another is expenditure type, but this is all not mandatory, and this is something that you decide whenever you want to have or not. So if I create the category mileage A, I can just save it. And now this category will be available in a system. I didn't choose the category, so I will just go for a standard no deduction. Now I can save it. Whenever there's something missing, you will get a pop-up with an error just like I had. So now this category is created, and I can just filter, make it easier for me to find. So this is my category mileage A, which is not assigned to any of the user. So in this section, I can decide which user will use this category. If I click the icon of a people here, I will have the selection of all of my user in a system, and I can decide which user will have this category. If I want all of them, I will just click the button add all, and then all of the users will have this category in a profile. And this is how you set up the category mileage in our system.